Premo ato adeshima movie bia ahama wakwaba edeba Cstv news at 24 esomre na so sema etwegu omaimu omahodo so no yede ebedai mu sekase na ensem no yehwe de ebede mu titima ankasa Ghana Mapeni John Dramani Mahama wabra okonto abo ewo GBC ode etu edwa ese license TV license no oba behemu ekena so ne ya ekọ so efa Ghana National Fire Service penipa obro insontraining bino and also wakasa ede afa ho make say die Ghana Mapeni ede ehyen ahodo obeyese oha ede ama asra ekuo no when in some hodwa obete ewakasi challenge visuals answer block machinery and block manufacturing KS Raffines Co Limited NAP Apartment Hotel and Offensive Crystal Direct Pet Shop ano so ya say de kasi so e de ebeso mu e de amje so ene mame ama bafua mayenda yes number But I say so quite a bit of the time so Facebook on ASCS TVG is also on YouTube also Oko no ma like channel Facebook adwin so eto ase emepem no ye working kaini na ede ama we dia me just one ma me ama bafua na ya hye yesem no ase ye de ni ekwa akokyere mo ewo Ghana Mampeni akachi na Ghana Mampeni John Dramani Mahama wa branch se one ni mpenifo ekot na ase achese anobaba esem ekoso na abra okopie mu ewo Ghana Broadcasting Corporation GBC and achese what they atu edwa wo chirebo se wo hwe TV license no mra achese eda ho no oba be ye insakraye ewo se ne be ya wo betimi ede akọ mrahwe bedwa fie se ne be ya won so betimi age atum na aba be ye adwuma ewo omaiga na o se oba be boa pa se ne be ya TV license no aban media houses no so betimi akọ kan pa ye.
There are few suggestions we have with regards to the so-called TV license, and I think that our thinking is going in the same direction to amend that law to make it a public media levy of some sort, and we're going to change the range of that levy so that it's better able to mobilize funding in order to be able to subsidize the work of the public media. And so when we're ready, it will be discussed in cabinet, but we'll discuss with you what our thinking is before we finally go to parliament and amend the law. I'm sure that with some of the suggestions we've got, it will be able to raise the amount of funding that it brings in and make you better able to do your work. Your minister brought the issue of the legacy debts to us. And so what I've asked him to do is just to make sure that you keep up with the current bill. We're going to ring fence the legacy debt, and then we're bringing it to the attention of the Chief of Staff to find the funding to be able to defray the legacy debt so that it does not continue to be a charge on you. We must discuss a new funding model to see how we can make you better able to discharge the mandates that you have. You've mentioned several things, and we're waiting to receive your proposals. I believe that you have the capacity and the assets to be able to modernize GBC. I mean, you sit on prime property in this city, and I believe that we can leverage some of those assets to create a more modern digital GBC that is more fit for purpose than
Now we're into about the PMO Ewa Ghana Broadcasting Corporation GBC and I just say Ghana Mampeni John Dramani Mahama Osanso a day at 2 a dress so Bekaya none other ebeto a dress a asradom cool penibia than a sa ekeka a year is a trony a biachese and also a honsam a coba say opening I was say it's me a train as soon and day Mampeni Tremua opening at a order in sa ekeka in some training no and yes said yeah they almost a son page as I say almost Shemo Ede Afa Sa Asema Esi Ye Ewo Kasua and importing.
Training, and so there's no way we'll countenance, the continued assault on journalists. So we've been in touch with the Ghana Journalists Association on these issues to put them in touch with the security services. We need a reorientation of many of our security personnel to understand that just as they're doing their job of providing peace and safety, journalists are also doing their job of informing the people as to what is happening. So they are not antagonistic to each other. Indeed, they are both serving the same public. Yeah, so we're working on it. But occasionally these things will come up. But when they come, they must be dealt with, as firmly as possible. The Minister of Government Communication has taken it up. I think the officers have been identified, they've been interdicted, and an investigation is ongoing. But we'll countenance assault on journalists.
Yanko Uti Regina Okopimo and some
Afema yentua yensemno eso na police adom hene eye Christian tete yehono eso ede sema tuja wo trebu se wabra o mampeni John Dramani Mahama betena abenwane so no je se wa ye niema bebre ede ama asra kro no emeka say de ode eye Nissan Navara pickups be so oha eni etre ede akwa akodom se wonfa endijuma.
Your Excellency, today marks yet another defining moment in the ongoing retooling of the Ghana Police Service in line with your promise of retooling the security services, and I am deeply honored to welcome you once again to the police headquarters for this important national assignment. On behalf of the Police Management Board, officers and men of the Ghana Police Service, I express our profound gratitude to you, Mr. President, for personally commissioning these 100 pickup vehicles for police operations across the country. Your presence here today is not only symbolic, it is a powerful statement of leadership, commitment, and trust in the Ghana Police Service. Your Excellency, when in December 2025, you handed over 40 armored vehicles to the police administration, you made a clear and unambiguous promise to the officers and men of this service and to the people of Ghana that retooling of the police service would not be a one-off event, but a sustained national priority.
Na afe mayombo remu ewo amanyo esemu sebeka say die ade se kane wona chese na wogina NPP amanyo kono anemu no beye se ahani edu ewo twe ande meka say die Dr. Bawumia ana chese wodi nechi de dendi a wo hwe ni bisa afipinu ene eduonu wo twe no ono begina ama NPP amanyo kono na yetimi atone so aba na kwesi kwatin kasamafo ede Emma Kennedy Japan ode sama tuja wo tremu se safo na omakwa kodi Bawumia echi no ose sanyema anase nsema che omaka se Dr. Bawumia opepo ne bosumi da beto so eduasa ba kono obeto aba ede amano se ne be onu ebegina amanyokuo no anemu na yato ne so aba ewo afimpinu ni eduonu ewo twe no wose ehu hia kra
now thing ejira the over 200,000 police stations they get you so na sebiu ye campaign ye no oni be ka se enye sebiu ase ye yam na ahye ene o si bibi mo bi ho bibi you have a plan and the plan is say ye di bu kwaso akobashe kwaso and the Casa de Council and the party for the Paco Casa. One more than 2 minutes of motion. Almost a car a benwo. Almost on a dorsal. Is when you have a plan and you stick to the plan. One chance to be what I say, we don't campaign air costro. A be any passimation and I be any pacubi on the ground, so one of my safety car. Now, or baby be a chess also what up because I'm a dear. Obviously, will have some people supporting us. And I know, say, almost more 67 MPs and with your machi. And the young Casabia, I'm not pretty much a moment of our corals on Bina. Oh, say, yeah, said you are going for what I say. And I'm penny for said you bunches in the other bed. Yeah, the boo Emma police station as they get it so. Yeah, you should see any argument. Yeah, need the Biada says you. I was a peace, Ibina, a coach the polling station in any polling station for one young Kora. They are adults, they are very discerning people. We bring a family people, one more a departure in Nigeria, and to me here, and I say, can we Japan here? I say, Okoako Parade MPs. Now I said, you blew a bomb of transport, here the camera also. Now, my big general, and I said, Okoako Parade PC. That's FPCC will be any more than a coalition.
Na penin ba ko e ba se yankuntia e fo magude to ayeto e wo oman Ghana ha no se ya yewra Kenneth ashigbe e den sem abetu edwa wo chirebu se 9 months obetumi abom homoden pa yende okwa akohwe ayensu iso na chese eni ate krogian wode abasbo e de ama 9 months.
That river body that the president was talking about was Ayensu. And the reason why you find out that Ayensu has improved is because NIMOS has done some extensive work in that particular area. And so that just what tells you that if we're able to do what NIMOS has to do, it would have been better. And you know that when we met that river body that the president was talking about was Ayensu. And the reason why you find out that Ayensu has improved is because NIMOS has done some extensive work in that particular area. And so that just what tells you that if we're able to do what NIMOS has to do, it would have been better. And you know that when we met the CSOs, so the CSOs met with His Excellency the President, one of the initiatives that was mentioned was the fact that we're going to have NIMOS have permanent bases in some of these particular areas. Unfortunately, that has not happened. I've heard Park Sandov talk about the fact that it will be done in the second quarter. So that's one of the challenges that confront us. The interesting thing is that for us at the coalition, one of the asks that we had of His Excellency the President was that we should be doing some monitoring of the water bodies, looking at the turbidity of the water bodies to be able to ensure that we are tracking properly to see whether some impact is happening.
Na Kojo Vincent Opo Nkroma Mrashibejoni de ma adeshia wo ofuase eyiribi abatwa empeswa ne so no de ato eja wo chere se ansa na omampani John Dramani Mahama ebetena abenwa ne so no ohye bebre se obehwe na akwantempon ahodo a atete apansam no obehwe na wetimi aye esiesie na ndey na twese Kojo Opo Nkroma de sebetu eja wo chere wu ese akwan ahodo a twese opani anaso omampani share no okopie mu ewo ne krom ofu ase ayerebia chese ohokwan no podi enye kra.
Not interested in nation building. We need as a nation to learn lessons. On the expressway you buy, say when I was supporting the motion, as my catch on say this is not the first time I buy the project but problem is say DBI started about say now I'm say expressway no cry on the buy on feasibility study. We are expressway no feasibility study. Now on feasibility study. And on my videos, video need to for abontin so a coin a bit for upon chrome, a bit fast. On feasibility study. I'm telling you on authority. On feasibility study. In fact, almost the concession agreement in the parliament. I've seen almost your feasibility study. Will be my feasibility study. So when I draw your attention and your time, a nation building said, Joe, Adeɛ wei wokɔ so say a wo nsa bɛsi fo bi awɔ ne da sɛ ehunu bi pɛnti na asere wo ama ne bɛaduane a no yɛ n'ani ato left.
Na wafipinu ne eduonu anan eye mrahye bejafoɔ a kyesa wɔdɔm NPP amanyokuo no bɛyɛ sɛ ɔha ɛne edu ɛwɔtwe ana kyesende ɔmode ɔmochitai nyina akwakotai Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia esanse ɔmose ɔno ana kyese ɛba sɛ wɔmbu ɔman na obetimi abu nipa eyi a kyese ebi kra embada na pani a kyese wodi wonim eye Andrews Ejapa Mesa ono eye kane mrahye bedwani ndema adehya wɔwɔ sekendi ana ɔde isewe ade etu edwa.
We have indeed followed the campaign of all these fine gentlemen of our party, some of whom have chalked immense successes in business, governance, and in the policy space. However, when all the key parameters required for leading our great party into 2028 are taken together, we are unconvinced at this time that any of them match up to the pedigree, experience, competence, vision, bold ideas, intellect, integrity, humility, and compassion that Dr. Bawumia embodies today. He simply is the most prepared, most formidable, and winnable candidate for the 2028 general election.
Na Patricia Apieje Eyedonkumano Omobano Deni Abedi Chiri Atesende wade atu eja wochre wo se wohwe eba bambo mu ensema omampani John Dramani Mahama waka echire kra esanse inde penche akoso no adoso pa eya inde endrada na chese oye nsentwerefo ihyiemu a ode nsenwe ede etudwa.
While this government burns millions on gold schemes and abandoned farms, Ghanaians sleep with one eye open. The security situation has deteriorated, transforming our once peaceful nation into fear and uncertainty. Fellow Ghanaians, 1 year into President John Maham's renewed mandate, our country is gripped by insecurity that cannot be brushed aside with ceremonies. The Interior Minister has admitted that as of July 2025, Ghana had recorded about 628 cases of armed robbery and 340 murders involving illicit arms, and an alarming toll in just half a year. Ghanaians no longer feel protected in their own homes. The duty to safeguard life and property has weakened under politicized policing and neglect of security services. It is not merely resource, it is priority. Since January 7, 2025, communal and chieftaincy clashes have erupted from Boko to Sampa and Abodom, leaving scores dead and thousands displaced in the Savannah and Upper East area alone. Clashes related to land and traditional authority have killed at least 31 people and uprooted about 48,000 citizens. A government that presides over such pervasive fear without a credible national strategy for prevention, early warning, and rapid response has failed a basic duty of protection. Fellow Ghanaians, kidnapping has risen sharply. Young women and men disappear. Children vanish on their way to school. And the story of an 18-year-old Senegalese goalkeeper, Sheikh TWI, is one of the most heartbreaking examples of how far this has gone. Sheikh came to Kumasi with dreams, lured by what he believed was a
na ya mame apieje Patricia apieje ka se wie etire na che so osanso ede etu edwa o chire mu se wa bra che se Ghana man pani John Dramani Mahama betina be nwane so no wa she bon pepi se obehwe se de be ya efo megudi etu ayetu e wo man no e betini etu ase no de atu edwa wo chire mu se bo sha che so man pani ehye no kamia koye se enhyedan endi mu ye amachesinde ya meka se die efo megudi etua koso ewo oman Ghana hanuma ye de se yenso ne yensase
8 citizens of Ghana, including 2 top ministers of state, took to the skies on a mission to confront illegal mining. They never returned. Their helicopter fell from the sky and a nation mourned. This tragic incident should have strengthened national resolve to defend our land, our water, and our children's inheritance. Instead, Ghanaians watch a government that speaks against Galamsey in press conferences while allowing questionable incentives, weak enforcement, and compromised supply chain to persist. This is not merely policy failure, it is betrayal of public trust. Illegal mining continues to expand. Our water bodies are poisoned with mercury and cyanide. Our cocoa farms are destroyed. Our forest reserves are vandalized. The Pearl River and Cobra and Brim increasingly reflect national distress and institutional weakness. As we speak, many parts of Accra are without water. This is happening alongside increased tariffs. When institutions meant to safeguard our environment are subordinated to opaque arrangements, what we witness is not a decisive fight against Galamsey. It is a loss of state control. The blood debt. The tragedy of the helicopter crash and the broader damage of Galamsey demand accountability and reform.
afe ma yenjina nsenwe so na ye home so embra ye ba ye de dwede mu nsem ne de aka so beso
hydraulic blocks machines, pallets, any blocks machines in one set using and nothing so. Blocks machines are who draw opening in a bin so ewo. Just show your chapwine in a year. There was Spinters Road 18 Junction. Yani KFC Dino and a dish anymore. Frey, it was 05,240. And I say 0540-725850. Ansel, blocks machines in Papa Efie.
Amesa mo bibia akwa babia woda so a ehwe ewia print break ase wo Cstv eso e dia we just so mame ama bafuade de so dwede mo ensem na Madam Patricia Apieje esa kasaya wo chire wo saying dey wo hwe good ball ejmedia wo di che saying dey yesika botany be se 214 million US dollars alpha was sassino or they are two a draw which will say I was a Ghana buying Elman John Dramani Mahama Otimi Eba now Bayan Shemu and Falfa Sassika Botania it's me Iris in a bear a year your good board a Jube Koro so a bit to be a journal naso.
From defendant to protector. The gold board is not alone. The governor of the Bank of Ghana must also be raising. The governor of Bank of Ghana must also answer serious questions. The governor was elevated by President Mahama, and before the elevation, he was one of the beneficiaries of the Attorney General's Nolly Prosecutor. He faced charges for his previous role at the central bank. Those charges are discontinued through Nolly Prosecutor, and then he was elevated to governor. He faced the institution that funds the Gold for Reserves program, the institution whose balance sheet bears the $214 million loss, the institution that should have provided rigorous oversight. Under governor's watch, these losses occurred. Excessive fees were allowed. Trading losses mounted. Controls failed. And when the IMF exposed these losses, the Bank of Ghana issued press release dismissing the IMF's concern defense instead of scrutiny.
Afe my entire self no as when you say Ghana by a day at 12 cry a day abas any bear one not just say what di a dry oh my Ghana had we said no at 12 was a would to be a general so over to be a day at che now make us say the one not just say yet g at 12 a day a free one che oh my God. Ghana hanu say do what they are to a job will sure say what could hear pa I must say a year at 12 fractures I buy a day abanu and no a boapa much say near much say I moko for free amanone a day about my Ghana hanu say no and also a conin pa
na a commissioner domestic tax Jano pay a baha say well we need to abide the emrafo for ashe why bema yene ya tony amane ho ato en kakra ya tete VAT ne ateso na waba se obeto ade enti ebusa se otoye no shop no receipt a wanya no VAT no eno ana wanya wache ase ana
well these are limited tony amount but anopa dia me pe dia manya ne nyina akope na manya but I think say eku
na de unya no hu se tax na omampanyi a year free on a year free so COVID levy no when who also
me receipts in after na ekita na mpese na kamehwe so no
obedi na hwe so na waka chen say COVID no also na year free ho
me pacho MC mo year free so
omo year free so na VAT no so who sign was so
say insurance mark
15%.
Afe my uncle obi my so sebeka say crofobia sa ohani e train at sende omuye oye chire nchepa ninina efa se US asradom no ade se pinchen bi ekọ so at sende nipa mienu etibi eto anananom ewo ensiedo yese na ehyen bi ekọ di nkatenten pa a chese asradom penin pa eto achese ekokan nipa mienu ya omo atoa nananum ewo insuedo yase eyesa etutututuo no ekoso ewo biaye yefense Adventist Health Hospital a imprepare ya kasedi emu no nyina yede akwa akopie mu ewo sa ayaresabia hono afe ma yenjira nsɛm wɔ so na yɛhome so sima yɛba yɛde ani gyedie mu nsɛm so bɛso ho wo enigedie mu ensem abrante ba ku bi atwese ye frene se Sam Safo atwese na hotedin atwese obi a ede enim no eye showboy oye se oye Ghanaian rapper na wode atu edwa wo chirebu ese eba Black Sheriff e kamia koye se nsen bi ebeto odwa mu chiremu ese ye ne dan kakrado wotimi entwia na kojeshedo crowd so ede se betu edwa se saba atwese ekoso no ne krebia enim
Black people we are CDN and Edia. O make his cabia with DSP, so he's not making nothing. O yen in your number. Only one shame will be under that Black Oscar. Only one shame 15 years contract with Empire. Only one shame. Blacko is the most broke nigga in Ghana music industry as compared to the hype that he has. Only one shame. All the money way Blacko is making for Empire. Empire cannot even buy a Lamborghini for Blacko to actually flex because Blacko the highly indebted boy in Empire. They make Blacko number one on the DSP. With the number one star for 6 months. They are just making money out of him because they've invested so much money. They are just using Blacko. Mupa lawyers kind of for government yen kambo yen go support Blacko Empire for no yen sha dia omo de Blacko judges go subpoena Blacko your friends and statistics in Brown. You see how much money Blacko is making, how much money they are not giving Blacko. He has signed his right and his masters off. Bena boy moko dada no sa time when tie kasa ena Blacko ene Blacko deka enim ya Blacko bebo wiase bia enye ne dia o make sika bia o DSP so he's not making nothing o hie ni no namho oni ne wo hwe me obi anda das Blacko ska oni ne wo hwe o hie ni no namho oni ne wo hwe me obi anda das Blacko ska oni ne wo hwe me nam 37 mbara mo se Blacko ka say kwan no wo na me twem boko because me gina my yawa me gina ferry beton so for me to respect Blacko we twem koi any fake because me yebo Blacko di am say yebo Blacko they compare am to Asekemo because Blacko ni Asekemo ne buy ne ko Aseke life. Why is Aseke living a good presidential life and Blacko is out here doing concerts? Blacko they say by now ko dan where you by now ko dan California. Got the same lifestyle Aseke is that the same lifestyle Blacko has to live. Why is Blacko sitting in East Lagos?
Now, unim say yen central for say yera te say ye kai akan kase bono ye tro e wo poto kase mu na te say ya chirechire mu na eno na te say ye de ebi ema e stone boy say won kinkai no yen tie insema na say senior osi kinkai e de e fire
kan twa na Ghana brofo meka we ni brofo ana mo atwo ne twi mu mo ka ne twi na mo atwo ne brofo mo twa ne twi mu mane. Okay. And I'm a boy. Watch one of Professor Mikali tree. And the over me here and they translate. I'm a say ready. And I'm trying to make an bro. I'm trying to make a tree. Trimune, a yama show now. I say, bro, from a yama show. Trino. It's here for the Koso, and say, Roberts be a breaky into a sorry be a China room. What I say, well, both with musical instrument or say, Roberts no, well. We're Johnny, we're boat, Hussein boat, or Tumirika, or the Mirika, and all the musical instrument, and the free. Robertson, yes, alleged say, Omubora, broke into the same boy, Omubora, what tried the other brofuna may AI, you know, Omubora, symbol Yahweh International Church. I saw they find the symbol Yahweh. Ewo Echina Krum, Ewo Ejiso Municipality, Ewo Ashanti region. ana mako wia instrument some kobo some koton
Afe mayankoji ewiemu satraye so enfambra. Ina say na ewiemu esatraye no ade say isuo ebe bebomu kakra ewo Togo anafe so Benin hye no so na ba bepie mu ewo omanga na ha no say na ekame akoye say isuo no ade say aprana ebe fema na say isuo so ebe toto kakra wa biaya che say ebe empoano na afe so biaya che say eye asase yantama ewo omai imo efri anapawe ekwa akowura na ewienu anase na ewienu Afe aha say da yede kase ye boaboa ni na no yede ebesi ewa Hasaris Dream Jewelries omo wo Kaneshi Asafo Achashi Street Amsel Block Machinery and Block Manufacturing ewo Spinter so many KFC no ana edi enimhwerema Ocean Agency also ewo Kaswa Amount from KS Rafime School Limited also ewo Dansuma Run About Celeste Sweet on Brown so ewo Kaswa Amount from Nap Apartments Hotel work Dansuma First Link Crystal Direct Pet Shop on so ewo East Legon Namone American House no ana ebo ehye eye prosper ana chese otna efidie no echi achese ndey senia mene esi ebom ewo TV ana se wo phone so no odon na chese ogina ana se otna efidie no echi a odane ede emame afen so brother Patrick and so ena etwa me etumu ewo abefo fidie tentai eso omo amaka so asede PSN so emfa enko emamuni na ede amenye so ede mame ama bafua makram